Hello, this is Mator, and today I'm going to be teaching you about basic explosive jumps in Halo Combat Evolved. So before you do anything, you should be starting with a game type properly set up like I showed in my previous tutorial video, linked below. And once you have that, we can get started. So I'm just going to do this on Battle Creek, but you can practice on any map you want. I like Battle Creek because it has some nice height surfaces to jump to. But anyways, so we're going to start with a basic grenade jump with a frag grenade. So you just look at a wall like this wall right here. I can't get up to it just by normally jumping, so we're going to use a grenade jump. So we're going to walk up to the wall, look straight down, throw a grenade, and jump just before it explodes. I also crouch at the top of my jump to make sure I get up. If I don't crouch, there's a small chance that I won't make it, like this. But if I did crouch there, I would make it. So that's another little thing. You just crouch at the top of your jump. It brings your legs upwards, so you go a little bit higher than you would if you didn't crouch, sort of like that. So I'll go over this again in a little bit more detail. I find it really easy, and you should be able to find it pretty easy too once you've practiced a little bit. So you're going to go up to the wall and you're going to look straight down. So you could look straight down. You can also look up a little bit. The difference is if you look straight down, the grenade will bounce a bit. And if you look up a tiny bit, you can bounce it underneath your foot and it'll stay on the ground. If you're doing a larger stack, it really becomes very valuable to bounce underneath your foot because it keeps everything timed properly and it's much more constant than having it bounce. So I would recommend you actually just learn how to do that from the get-go because it's more valuable to know how to bounce it underneath your foot. So yeah, you just look straight down, you look up maybe one reticle length, so like if you imagine where my reticle is now and you stick another reticle on top of it, that's about how far you aim upwards. And then you jump, and there you go. It's important to time your jump properly. So if you jump too early, you won't get enough height. I'm going to try that again, jumping a little bit earlier. So, gosh, I find it really hard to time this improperly, but here we go. So if I jump too early like that, I'm not going to get anywhere near the height that I need. So the closer you jump to the grenade's actual explosion, the more height you get. So like that time I cleared it pretty much. But if you jump too late, well, now that's too early again, but if you were to jump too late, you wouldn't go anywhere at all. So I'll try demonstrating that here. You can see the grenade kind of blows me off the ground a little bit and I don't even get the chance to jump. So it's important to learn to time that properly, and it's really just something you learn with practice. Eventually, after enough practice, you just learn to know exactly when it's going to explode and you jump just before that. And that's the basics of grenade jumping. I like to use a frag grenade. You can also use a plasma grenade. It just has a longer explosion time and it can stick to your foot. And so it's a little bit more difficult to time it, I feel, than it is to time a frag grenade. But if you know the timing, it's not impossible to pull off. I'm surprised I messed it up twice there. Wow, I'm bad. This is silly. Okay, let's do it one more time. There we go. That's correct. So yeah, that's why I like to use a frag grenade. It explodes faster, it doesn't take out your entire shield, so you can do up to 5 consecutively if you have 800% health, and it's just easier to time. So obviously this wall is pretty easy to jump up using a grenade jump. This one's a little bit higher, so let's see if I can get up there using a frag jump. Yeah, just barely. I had to time that pretty much perfectly. If I was a little bit off, I probably wouldn't have made it. Yeah, see, I was a little bit off there, so I didn't make it. So I think Battle Creek or Beaver Creek is a great map to try grenade jumping because there's multiple surfaces that are like different heights so that you can see just how good you are at your grenade jumping. Anyways, we're going to go over here. You can see this wall is a little bit higher up, and you cannot grenade jump onto this wall. No matter how well you time it, you cannot grenade jump up this wall. It's just too tall. So we're going to grab a rocket launcher and we're going to try doing a rocket jump. The principle behind a rocket jump is pretty much exactly the same as the principle behind a grenade jump. You just jump and you fire a rocket at your feet and up you go. So we're going to do that right now. So here we are. We're just going to run. We're going to look straight down. It's important to look straight down because otherwise some of the rocket explosion will push you backwards and you might not make it to your target. You can also rocket behind yourself if you want to try that, but then you're also going backwards so you can't really see where you're going. So I find it best just to rocket straight down. So I'm going to run towards the target, I'm going to jump, and I'm going to rocket straight down. Like that. And you can see I clear it with relative ease. I'll do it a few more times just to demonstrate. So if I were to rocket too late, I wouldn't go high enough. And this is again because of how explosions work in Halo CE. Basically, the closer the explosion is to you, the more velocity it gives. Could be one thing. It could also be that it's multiplicative. So because I already have velocity going upwards, the rocket gives me more velocity. I think it's more so a matter of incidence, how close you are to the explosion. So this is if I rocket too late. I actually still made it because this wall isn't really that high. But this wall is a little bit higher. So if I want to test rocket jumping, this wall is kind of the perfect height for almost... It's actually a little bit shorter than a perfect rocket jump. So there we go. So that's pretty nice, and there you go. That's rocket jumps for you. You can also use a fuel rod to jump. It gives you about as much height as a grenade does, but you can fire them consecutively very rapidly. Generally speaking, fuel rod jumping isn't used quite as much as grenade or rocket jumping. Just because it's a little bit cheap because you can fire it continuously. So you can basically go up a vertical wall. Anywho, that's the basics of grenade and rocket jumping. And I will see you in the next video where I will go over stacks. How to combine grenade and rocket jumping to get massive amounts of height. Or distance. Anywho, see ya.